Perhaps the greatest Protestant preacher in 19th century England was Charles Spurgeon. One day he was teaching a group of seminarians how to preach. He said, "When you speak of heaven, let your face light up with a heavenly gleam. Let your eyes shine with reflected glory. And when you speak of hell, well, then your usual face will do." It is true. When we are conscious of God's presence, something happens to us that transfigures even our very appearance. You can tell when someone is filled with the love and joy of God. Jesus was transfigured, enveloped in light. In that moment his face shone like the sun, and his clothes became white as light. We are shown a glimpse of the glory that was his from all eternity. That same glory is ours as well. We are broken people, broken off a little from what we could be. We don't always reflect the glory that is God, but we can. In 1913, King George V and Queen Mary were at King's College for the dedication of a new hospital. During the ceremony, a little girl was supposed to go up and present a purse to the Queen. But at the last moment, the girl became frightened and walked away. The Queen said to her, "Surely, my child, you are not afraid of me." The girl said, "No, Your Grace, it's the King I'm afraid of." Everyone broke out into a big smile, including the King. The little girl looked up at the King with amazement, turned to the Queen and said, "Why, he's quite different when he smiles. I'm not afraid of him any more." So the ceremony was able to go on. We look a lot different when we smile. It is then that we reflect the radiance of God. It is then that we ourselves are transfigured. And when we smile, we have the power to transfigure those around us, not only their face, but their life. So powerful is a smile. My mother used to tell us an old saying, "If you see someone without a smile, give them one of yours." One of the most popular baseball players of all time was Babe Ruth. He had a lot of fans, and one of them was a very little boy. That boy took deathly ill and was in the hospital. His family got word to Babe Ruth that the boy would love a baseball signed by him. So the babe signed a ball and brought it to the boy himself. "Cheer up," he said. "This afternoon I am going to hit a home run just for you." And he did, and the boy got better. Babe Ruth always said afterwards, "The greatest medicine in the world is a home run." And I say to you, the greatest medicine in the world is a smile. I believe that story about the babe because I once had a similar experience. Years ago, I knew a very talented young actor by the name of Ryan. Those were the days of the terrible AIDS plague, and like so many, Ryan was dying in the hospital. Some of his friends wanted to do something to make his last days more pleasant. We all knew that Ryan loved music. His two loves were Patti LaBelle and Cher. Since some of his friends had high connections in the entertainment industry, they were able to arrange for Cher to call his hospital room. Ryan called me and nonchalantly said, "Cher called." I said, "No, that can't be." "Uh-huh, she did." He was as happy as anyone I have ever seen. A few days later, I was visiting him in the hospital and the telephone rang. He picked it up and said, "Hello? Uh-huh. Uh-huh." His face became brighter and brighter, his smile wider and wider. When he put down the phone, he said to me with a big smile, "That was Patty." Patty LaBelle had called him. The glow on his face became dazzling as the sun, and I thought the Transfiguration on Mount Tabor could not have been more radiant than the smile on that young man's face. I thought, this boy is now ready for heaven. And indeed, he was called from this life shortly after, the radiant smile still on his face. Little acts of kindness have the power to make such a difference. All it takes is a little smile. We don't have to be the babe. We don't have to be a celebrity. Little people like you and I can do the same. We have so much power, armed with a smile. Some people fear God, as the little girl feared the king, simply because they cannot imagine God with a smile. Let us unite ourselves to the transfigured Lord by smiling. Let us allow God to transfigure us, and through us to transfigure the world around us. Let us allow God to use our lips to smile lovingly upon the world.